This video will help you figure out if your partner is avoidant or just not into you. And here's the thing, someone can like you, someone can like certain things about you, enjoy your company, or even find you interesting. So technically, they can be into you. But the real question is whether they are invested in building a relationship. And by building, I mean creating space where both people's needs are considered. And here's where people get confused. Avoidance avoid being vulnerable in emotional closeness, while people who are not interested in relationships avoid the conversations and interactions where your needs would even come up. Being used means your needs are not considered, or they are only considered just enough to keep you around. In this case, they might like certain things about you, and they might even come back or show signs of change, but it will only be the bare minimum required for you to stay. So they can keep access to whatever it is that they enjoy in you. Or they realize you wouldn't agree to whatever they want to create, so they keep things vague or avoid talking about it to prevent you from making your own decision. And I'm going to call this instrumental avoidance. It is not so much as attachment style, it is a strategy to keep you in relationship without letting the relationship grow. It is a way to control the outcome. It does not mean that they are doing it maliciously or consciously planning it. Closeness is scary, and most people find ways to control it. For example, through usefulness, which also leads to dissatisfaction, and it is also a way to control it. But the point of this video is to help you tell the difference between avoidance used as a conscious or subconscious strategy to control and avoidance that comes from an attachment style. And this setup that instrumental avoidance creates, where the other person tries to get the value without having to reciprocate on the same level, causes you confusion and re-traumatization. Since you have to fight for this minimum, over time, it starts creating the illusion that you are, when you asking this much, it creates the illusion and it feels like you're asking this much. And instrumental avoidance conditions you to accept less than what is required for the healthy relationship dynamic. And I am saying re-traumatization because people who find themselves in such dynamics usually already have increased tolerance for neglect from earlier experiences. And before we dive into the list of the signs to help you identify whether it's instrumental avoidance to control or if it's an avoidance as attachment style, please show some support to this channel, like, comment, share. So sign number one, boundaries. For an avoidant person, boundaries are not a way to dominate. They are a way to maintain control over their own inner world. For them, intrusion feels like a threat to their safety, so they also try not to intrude on someone else's space. Their coldness or distance is not about wanting to hurt you, it's about protecting themselves. And if they hear that something in their behavior bothers you, they may not respond warmly, but they will at least try to remove the obvious triggers. Their goal is to preserve the status quo, not to destroy the connection. For someone who doesn't care about other people's boundaries, the motivation is different. Contact is a way to assert themselves or extract resources, and they may deliberately provoke, devalue, or invade your space, because what matters to them is not how you feel, and not even so much as what they can get out of the interaction, but control. And this lack of care for others' feelings comes from the fact that they also do not care about their own, because they dismiss or avoid their emotions because they see them as inconvenient and they see their own emotions as signs of weakness, or treat their emotions as it's something irrelevant. And if you don't value your own emotions, you're going to ignore everyone else's. Unlike an avoidant, they are not afraid of closeness. They are afraid of losing control, because control is what allows them to keep avoiding their own feelings. And that's why when you make it clear that something bothers you, they do not adapt. Instead, they increase the pressure. So you doubt yourself and stop defending your boundaries. And from this angle, the difference is simple. An avoidant protects boundaries because they're afraid of losing themselves. They respect their own boundaries and respect other people's boundaries. A control-oriented avoider breaks boundaries because they are afraid of losing power. They feel helpless in this point. And these games of power still are not a personal attack. They are a shield to keep from feeling their own emotions. Sign to devaluation. An avoidant might go quiet, withdraw, retreat into themselves, but they will not tell you that your experiences, emotions, and feelings are nonsense. When you are emotional, they are more likely to go silent or step away from the conflict because they feel anxious, scared, and don't know how to handle it. Their distance is a form of self-protection, not an attempt to degrade your emotional experience. A person who consciously breaks boundaries, however, acts differently. They say things like, you are overreacting, you are too sensitive, or who even cares about that? Their goal is not just express a lack of understanding. The goal here is to devalue your emotional experience and make you question your own feelings. And again, this is not about fear of closeness. It's about control and deliberately making you doubt yourself. Sign number 3, pressure to change. When an avoidant doesn't like something, you're more likely to feel distance and withdrawal rather than pressure or criticism. In most cases, depending on the degree of avoidance, such people tend to accept their partner as they are. If something doesn't work for them, they'll either quietly put up with it or simply leave without even explaining why. A person who consciously breaks boundaries, however, does the opposite. They'll constantly point out your flaws and try to reshape you to fit their preferences. They won't just mention that something bothers them. They'll methodically apply pressure, criticize, and work to convince you that you should be softer, smarter, calmer, or otherwise in some way better in order to be good enough. The 4th sign is ignoring. An avoidant might withdraw into themselves, but if you call or text, they will at least make some kind of contact. They can be emotionally closed off, but they are not trying to deliberately make you suffer. Someone who consciously breaks boundaries, however, will purposely ignore you to trigger anxiety, make you worry, or even punish you. They might read your messages but not reply, just so you'll be left wondering. They might disappear for days and then act as if nothing happened. All of this is manipulation, not fear of closeness. And in this context, manipulation is about controlling the outcome without direct communication. They see their own needs as signs of weakness. Something if they admit will make them weak and dependent. So they will treat yours with contempt as well. Sign number 5, capacity for change. Over time, an avoidant can change, but someone who uses avoidance as a strategy to control won't. An avoidant may be a challenging partner, but if they care about you and want a relationship, they will try. Slowly, they'll move toward closeness, reach out more often, share more, and show care. The key difference is self-reflection. An avoidant looks at their own behavior and capable to make adjustments. Someone who uses avoidance to control does not self-reflect because their distance is not about fear of closeness. It is about maintaining power to avoid self-reflection. If they stay just as cold and indifferent as in the beginning, that's not avoidant attachment style, that's deliberate control through distance. Your discomfort is not a test to earn love. It's a signal that you should never ignore. If someone violates your boundaries, devalues you, or plays with your emotions, it's not avoidant attachment style, it's control. and they are not invested in your comfort. Trust yourself on this point and try to avoid making excuses for them. I want to close this video with an affirmation that I heard many years ago, and I'd like you to write it down as a resolution, as a promise to yourself in the comment section, and hear how it sounds. You can adjust it depending on the gender that you're attracted to. There are many good men in the world, and even more great ones. Or there are many good women in the world and even more great ones. With people who use avoidance as a strategy, it's like reaching for the gem at the bottom of the thorn bush. You end up scratching your hand until it bleeds. And there are plenty of people whose love does not come at such a high price. Enjoy your life and date cool, kind people who've done the work on themselves and are genuinely interested in relationships.